You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't, 'cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. But you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. I found your magic and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. But you didn't win.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Victorious! Victorious!
Happy Friday, Junior, y'all. Happy Friday, Junior. Welcome to this week's episode of Dr. Victorious. I am Dr. Nicole D. Vick. Yay! Funny story, before we were coming on and the theme song was playing, you know how that sneeze come in and you're like, come on, sneeze. And the sneeze was it was moving real slow. I said, you're gonna have to hurry up and come through before this theme song is over. And it finally did. I was like, I can't be sneezing right when the camera cut to me. I can't do that. Anyway, Dr. Victorious is where we explore the intersections of social justice, wellness, and what it means to show a fully human as a Black person. I just want put it out there because I'm Black. We are going to discuss today something really interesting that I am seeing on social media, and I didn't know. I'm going to give you like a case study of what's going on, but I see it a lot on social media lately, and I'm like, what is this trend? And it's about misinformation. It's about these bots, about all this interesting stuff that's happening on social media and how it can impact not only the people that are maybe being directly responded to in the media, in the social media post or thread or whatever, but also like those of us that are witnessing it, that are reading it or watching it or seeing it and absorbing in this content. So I wanted to talk about that today. We got to think about like who benefits when lies go viral, when controversy goes viral, and then who ultimately like pays the price for when this kind of stuff happens. Because I feel like there's this weird phenomenon. I think when social media started, it was very much like, I don't know, plain and simple and a happy place. But now it's kind of like everybody's mad. Everybody wants to do a hot take. Everybody unpopular opinion. Everybody wants to normalize a thing, and then they say the most stupid thing, and it's like, what's wrong with you? So I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna have to talk about this a little bit more. I'm curious to share. Well, I'm curious to learn more myself, but I'm also excited to share with you what I found. And I see Cyrus said that happened to me right before a Zoom call today. You be scrolling and be like, why is everybody yelling and arguing about somebody? Might say the sky is blue, and it's gonna be 3, 4, 5 comments. No, it's not. And it's like, what? People are mad at the young streamer, Kai Sanat. I know I'm probably saying his name wrong. He's reading, and there were some words he came across, that he didn't know what they meant. So he went to the dictionary. Baby, they was clowning this grown man for being curious enough and smart enough to say, well, let me look up something that I don't understand. They were clowning and were getting angry. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about today. But before we get into that, gonna do the scroll stroll. Woo! And some of the scroll stroll is about some of the madness that be on social media. Oh, the first one, fat phobic fail. So y'all like how I try to be making stuff sound like, what's that called when you, is it alliteration? Fat phobic fail? That's the first one. Now, oh my goodness. I don't know this particular influencer or content creator. I think her name is Easy. She has millions of followers. From what I understand, she puts herself out there as a stud, right? Which is a Black lesbian, more masculine presenting, right? And she posted a comedic skit that was titled Big Girls Be Like. She had a fat suit on, and then she was doing these exaggerated scenarios about plus size shopping. Everybody that knew immediately that she was mocking someone named Samira. Samira is amazing. I feel like she's probably maybe a little older than Andrea, but she's really big about, okay, these brands, all body positivity, size inclusivity. We love everybody, right? But then you go into the store and they only go up to an extra large. And so Samara is really good and big about going into these stores and like, well, you said size inclusivity. Why my size ain't in there? So the skit that Easy did was mocking Samira. It was clear. The wig was the same color as Samira's hair. The mannerisms and stuff was very clear. So, honey, baby, the fat side of social media, everybody was like, oh, heck no. And I think the thing that made this even worse is because how are you supposedly from a marginalized group yourself, right? You should understand how it feels to be marginalized and oppressed because of your status. How then is it okay to further sort of disparage someone that's also a marginalized community? There was a lot of great commentary on social media about this, and there's a couple of posts that I put up for you guys to see. But I would say that homophobia and fat phobia are the two last acceptable types of discrimination. It's always acceptable to call somebody fat or big back. And I promise you guys, I cannot stand that word. I'm tired of hearing big back. I'm tired. If somebody says big back in my presence, I don't know what I'm going to do. Tired of it. I'm a lifelong fat person. I totally understand some of the nuance and issues around fatness, which is linked to anti-Blackness. And if you didn't know that, you might want to look that up. A lot of information that maybe some of you don't understand and don't get. So anyway, all that to say, folks gathered around Samira immediately and spoke out against Easy. I think she has since taken the videos down, but I don't think she's apologized. But again, it's like, how are you punching down, right? That's the term, punching down on someone when you're also at the bottom, if we're thinking about oppression, right? So crazy. So yeah, look it up, go on Threads. You might want to kind of catch wind. There were a lot of people, social justice influencers, folks that really talk about those kinds of things, that did some really good commentary on the issues around why fat phobia is anti-Black and just why it's not an acceptable thing. Leave us alone. I'm fat. Leave me alone. Give me my popcorn and leave me by myself. All right. Cyrus says you learned something new today. I thought it was a term of endearment for Gen Z. I don't know. I feel like whoever came up with the term big back, if that's what you're referring to, it was like, oh, I'm being greedy. Oh, big back behavior, right? And everybody says it. I watched YouTube videos of smaller influencers. Oh, I'm being a big back, eating this cheesecake. I shouldn't be eating in a big bag. And I'm like, stop it. Because there are actually fat people with big backs. It's not funny. It's just not. I don't know why making fun of fat people is funny. Denny's put out something, a social media post, and it was something like that. Yeah, I ate XYZ for breakfast. I'm a big back. So what? And it's like, stop. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe somebody, y'all don't care. I care because I'm fat. There's fat people in my family. Leave us alone. Trust me, we know we're fat. We know we're trying to work on it, or maybe we're not, and that's okay too. But like, we're still people. Oh my gosh. We might have to have a whole episode around fat phobia and where it comes from and why it's harmful to be fat phobic in our society. All right, let me go to the next one because I could have just kept talking about that. We're going to go to the next one. Healthcare hoopla. Now, this one, normalize going to your primary care physician instead of the emergency room. And I'm like, okay, on the surface, yes, you should go to your primary care physician and not the emergency room. Yes. But to put the burden on people to navigate a poorly structured healthcare system is crazy. Especially when we're talking about Black people, when we have issues of access to healthcare, affordability of healthcare, we don't trust people in healthcare. Like, the system has never guaranteed or promised those things to us. So if I don't feel well and I call my primary care physician and they can't see me until next month and I don't feel good, I'm going to the emergency room, right? So sometimes I think people post these hot takes and they're very short-sighted. They don't really understand that in some neighborhoods, primary care is harder to find. Appointments can take months. Insurance is unstable. You might have insurance today, but you lose your job and then you ain't got no insurance no more. Your pain is minimized. You come in and say you feel bad, they don't believe you. So but you know that if you go to the ER, they're not going to turn you away. You might have to wait, but they won't turn you away. So a lot of people make that decision. And I don't think it's really about personal responsibility. This is the failings of the American healthcare system. So to tell people to normalize not going to the ER, how about normalize creating a healthcare system that works for everybody? How about that? How about we do that instead, right? So that's my healthcare hoopla, something for you all to think about and ponder on. Just because things are going to change in the healthcare in the healthcare service delivery field. There's some things that are brewing, right? We weren't even sure if people on the marketplace were going to be able to get the kind of healthcare that was going to be affordable to them. And I don't know if they actually got to that conclusion. I know there was some stuff going on in the federal government. They were trying to make sure it happened where people's subsidies were going to work, but I don't know if that actually is complete yet. So I'm not, big on the policy. Maybe Jackie has to come back and explain that because she's the policy person. And the last one is a sad moment. I want to say rest in power. I got news over the weekend that someone who has played such a huge role in sort of the landscape, and I was going to say of Los Angeles, but I'm like, no. She's worked at different levels, county, city, county, state, over the years, and has mentored, I would say, probably easily hundreds of Black women. Joy Atkinson passed away, I believe, over the weekend. We got the email over the weekend, so I want to say she must have passed over the weekend. And I want to read some of the information about her if you don't know who she is. And if you didn't ever get the chance to meet her, man, oh man, you missed out. Joy Atkinson's commitment to public service was deeply rooted in her family history. She was the daughter of Eddie and Antoinette Atkinson, and her father was the first African-American to reach a general election for LA City Council. That's huge. And think about that. Like, she grew up in a space where something like that happened, like what that probably did to her sense of who she is and her commitment to service. Like, that is amazing. She carried this torch forward. I mean, to me, it's like, of course she did, with a professional career that spanned nearly every level of local and state governance. For 16 years, she served as chief of staff for Assemblywoman Gwen Moore in the 47th district, where she managed legislative staff and spearheaded critical constituent outreach. She was a trusted advisor to multiple LA mayors. She served on the South LA Area Planning Commission, and she was president there, LA City Planning Commission, Police Permit Review Panel. She was appointed by Mayor Eric Garcetti, and served as commissioner and eventually vice president of the board of neighborhood commissioners. And then she worked closely with Supervisor Margaret Lee Thomas, who was the previous supervisor of the 2nd District here in Los Angeles County, for 8 years to build the Empowerment Congress. And ironically, the Empowerment Congress is having their summit this Saturday. And so a friend of mine reached out and said, oh my gosh, it's going to be so strange to not see her in that space. And so it's like, man, she was a champion for Black women leaders. So she was the executive director of the Los Angeles African American Women's Public Policy Institute. I actually did LawPi in 2018. Under her leadership, LawPi became a premier training ground for a new generation of Black women leaders, preparing them for roles in both the public and private sectors. Her work ensured that leadership pipelines were inclusive, and her mentorship launched the careers of countless women serving in government today. Sydney Kamlager Dove went through LawPi. There are some other folks that have either run for public office or actually were, won and are in their space because of the work and the things that they learned in LawPi. I can't think of all of them. Cassandra Chase, who is the first Black woman mayor of, it's a city in LA County. I'm going to mess it up, but if I remember, I'll put it somewhere for you all to see. I just want to add this because I know I've taken way longer on the scroll today than normal. Joy did not just build institutions, she built people. When I was in LawPi back in 2018, I felt her measured authority and a deep belief in Black women's brilliance, right? She didn't need to announce her power and say, y'all bow down to me. No, you felt it. You felt it in the way she challenged us to be sharper and the way she held space for our growth. She pushed us. She reminded us that we belonged in rooms that were never built with us in mind, and that we had a responsibility to hold that door open. Like, don't just walk through it and be like, I'm in, and let the door close, baby. Hold that door because somebody else is coming, right? So her legacy lives on in the many, many, many Black women who are leading, serving, and showing up boldly in public life because she took the time to pour into us. I'm grateful. I'm like, I have friends that wanted to do LawPi. I'm like, ooh, you finna miss out. Man, oh man. So just really grateful for what I learned from her. And I'm like really sad, but I'm knowing that the women of LawPi will stand in the gap because we also always have cohorts coming in and we'll need to stand in the gap to make sure we can provide them an excellent experience as well. Okay, y'all, my bad. Scroll was long, but I had to get that all out. Let's go to a commercial, y'all.
What's going on, y'all? It's Kwame Speaks from Kwame Speaks Live, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter, host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network.
We are back. We're going to talk about this social media problem that we got going on. I don't know if you all have noticed the shift where, I don't know, social media seemed much friendlier in years past in early days, and now it's gotten much angrier. And for me, it's like, what is going on? Sometimes, and I think one of the things is, I think we tend to, okay, I'm going to speak for myself. I tend to take things at face value. someone says something, I don't necessarily question, are they lying? I'm like, oh. I also will say though, I tend to follow people that don't lie on social media, but sometimes it's like, where did this come from? Or why is this now viral, this particular issue? Or what's driving this thing? And I'm starting to learn before I react to a statement that someone makes, click on that profile and see if it's actually a real person. Because half the time, if you click on it, it ain't even no post. They haven't said nothing. They've not responded to anything. And it's all, or if they have, it's all negative. And sometimes that can clue you in as to if they're a bot or if they're, offshore in another country and they're getting paid to comment negatively on certain things to try to drive a conversation a certain way. It's really interesting. Like, I'm sure a lot of us have seen something trending on social media and assumed it was real because if everybody's talking about it, then it must be a thing, right? Like, why would it be fake? And then no, it's a really interesting thing. And so I want to talk to you about this case study. So what prompted this whole episode is I learned that Kenny Lattimore and his wife, Faith Jenkins, have experienced some sort of, I don't know what happened really, but something happened and they're responding to it. So sometime last year, social media platforms were flooded with posts, commentary, videos that involved Kenny Lattimore and his wife, Faith Jenkins. And what stood out wasn't just how quickly the story spread, but how it spread. And it was like, well, and I usually see a lot because I'm on social media a lot. I didn't see or catch wind of this particular issue. But many of the accounts, once they started to dig, like, where is this coming from? Like, who said that I got 5 baby mamas? Like, it could have been something crazy. I got 5 baby mamas and I'm cheating and whatever, right? Like, where is this coming from? And sometimes once one person says it, it just spreads and then everybody's posting it and sharing it and resharing it. And sometimes it's hard to pull back. It's hard to take that information and say, no, that's not true, because people like to spread the gossip as opposed to spreading the factual information. So what happened was they started to like, where is this stuff coming from? And so they went to YouTube and they started to realize that there's these accounts that are created by businesses. They may have a Black person's face on it, but they're not necessarily run by Black people. Or they're offshore somewhere else. There's like this really interesting thing that's happening. And so many of those accounts that were driving the most inflammatory narratives showed patterns consistent with bot activity and offshore engagement farms. And these were accounts with little to no personal history. So remember what I said, you might go back and look and say, well, they haven't really posted much, or they post really generic things, or they don't comment. Like, where is this coming from? Little to no personal history, repetitive language, high volume posting a lot, trying to see what'll catch and go viral, and content designed to provoke outrage rather than inform. I've also seen videos using AI. For example, when the whole food stamp conversation was going on recently, I think that was like the end of last year, there were a lot of AI videos that were made up where Black women were like, yeah, I sell my food stamps, and they weren't real. They were AI generated. And it started all these negative commentary around Black people on food stamps when we know the statistics are different. It's not true that the most people on food stamps are Black people. It's not. So, but those videos were stirring up and steering a conversation in a certain kind of way to reinforce stereotypes about Black people and the use of public services like food stamps, right? So the interesting thing is, Kenny Lattimore and Faith Jenkins are working. They're trying to figure out how can they, for example, force YouTube to, hey, I need the information about who created this account because I want to try to sue, press charges, or something like that. And I guess YouTube is like, no. So they're trying to figure out how to navigate this. Some people could say, y'all just ignore it. You know who you are. You know who you're married to. You guys know the truth. Just ignore it. But the reality is, when you constantly see a lie about you, It starts to mess with your mind. It starts to mess with your head. It can cause you to be depressed. It can cause a whole host of issues. It also could impact your livelihood. I mean, someone that performs for a living or someone whose reputation is important to their livelihood could actually have financial harm based on what's a lie. So sometimes it's not just so simple as, well, just ignore it. One of the things I also want to talk about is it's important to understand that misinformation doesn't even need to be sophisticated to be effective. It only needs repetition. So that's why you see something crazy and then you be like, oh my goodness, and you share it with all your friends and then they share it and share it. It's that repetition and that sharing that actually creates sort of the virality of it. Emotional hooks can also get you. So if something makes you angry, what the heck is that? Same thing. Once a narrative appears on enough timelines, it does begin to feel credible, regardless of whether it's true. In this case, inaccurate and misleading claims circulated widely, often without verification, context, or evidence. And as those posts gained traction, real people began responding, commenting, sharing, reacting emotionally, unaware that much of it may not have been organic at all. It was prefabricated, it was made up. And that's how misinformation works. It enters quietly, somebody says a thing, and then it spreads quickly, and it's hard to draw that back. And like I said, by the time corrections of people put up the Vick, oh, this is not true, it's too late. The moment has passed, nobody cares anymore. The part I think that is most concerning is that this pattern isn't random. I follow Feminista Jones on social media, and she talks a lot about how people have figured out that Black anger makes money. Because some of these social media platforms go off of engagement. So the more you engage with something, the person that posted it is the one that makes the money. Right. And so what she was talking about, I think that's what she was talking about, that they like to post things that will cause, because us, we ready to fight. What you say? What? That's not true. And so we get in there and start posting and we start responding, all the while not realizing this was an engagement farm. This was a bot. This is not even a real person. The pictures looks like a Black person. It ain't even a Black person. And we're actually helping them generate income off, and they're making us upset and they're making money off of us, right? So it's all really crazy. And what happens is, like I said, algorithms reward engagement and outrage generates engagement. Content that angers, shocks, or confirms existing beliefs is more likely to be amplified, and it doesn't even have to be accurate. So it's just an interesting thing that I wanted to share with you about that specific case. And what can happen to, us, right? So not even Kenny Lattimore and Faith Jenkins. I mean, I'm sure they're irritated, right? But we in there trying to defend, he's not like that, or whatever the lie was. And we're sucked right into it just as well. And having like, why are you angry? And it's just social media. And I don't know. I think what I want you to all understand is that this is all a machine. Bots versus real users. Before you get ready to say what you're gonna say, like I'm finna, I got something to say. Make sure you're talking to a person, a real person. Check so Threads is really cool. You can click on their account. You can check what they post, but you can also check their replies. You can see how they respond to people. That often is a dead giveaway that this is not a real person. Guess what? I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to go in and watch TV instead of sitting here arguing with a computer that's not even real. And you mad now. Your blood pressure is up. Why? For what reason? And remember, the more that you engage, you're actually helping them. And it doesn't matter if the engagement is positive or negative. You've watched it, you've commented, you've tagged your friends, they done joined to comment, they're angry. This person now is making money off of your anger. And so the example that I talked about in the scroll stroll with Easy making fun of Samira, and it was about fat people. And you guys, one of the things she said was, you guys are too sensitive. You guys are too sensitive. The people that jumped on that Instagram, or I think it was actually a TikTok video, and commented and watched it and posted and were angry, that actually made her money. So you are trying to tell her about herself, but at the same time, the check that she's gonna get, she probably felt like it was worth it, right? So we have to learn instead to ignore, because if we had all ignored it, it would have went away. And that's hard, because especially in the case with that video about the fat phobia, it's like you're really disparaging a whole group of people, and specifically one person. For what reason? The other thing I'll talk to you about is about politics. A lot of the social media posts and information around election time and all those sorts of things. Be careful, pay attention. Where is this coming from? Who posted it? Why is it posted in this way? What does this mean? Because sometimes they're using it to shift a narrative about something that happened. Think about Venezuela. Like I don't know how to feel about it, because this is what was said, but where did this source of information come from? So be very mindful and thoughtful about that. The human cost. Again, as I said earlier, some of us care about our reputations. Some of us have professions where our reputations are very important. And if something goes viral and it's a lie, your reputation can be harmed. Do you know how many people got fired, now wrongfully fired, but still got fired by speaking out when that guy got killed? They said things that actually he said. They reposted what he said and they got fired. Those kinds of things can cause emotional distress, anxiety, depression. Public shaming does not feel good. And if you are a Black person who is already disproportionately impacted by literally everything on this planet, just trying to exist, you don't need that extra layer of anxiety, depression, and emotional distress in your life, right? It can be very traumatic to be misrepresented. It's one thing to be misrepresented in a group, a small group of people, they don't understand you. It's another thing for a whole host of people to jump on you on social media. It has happened to me. I would say it was pretty bad. There was a social media post where someone said, I heard that Black men said that if Black women own their home, they're, damaged goods. They don't want to deal with you. And I said, well, I guess I won't be dealing with no Black men then, if that's the case, because I have more than one property. Just all the negative, and they probably were bots, but they were like, yeah, you use good. We don't want to deal with you. Nobody cares about what you got. And I said, well, there's people that do care. Like my daughter, she cares. I tend to keep it light. But what I had to realize was, Nicole, if you delete your comment, it'll go away. And so I deleted the comment. The other thing I'll say about that specific thing, if I put that comment in on a Monday, you're going to get comments 2-3 weeks later. Every time somebody sees it, they're going to comment. And so it's not even just that day. You're going to continue to be reminded or get these negative comments for however long that post remains viral. So again, use your common sense. I had to say, Nicole, delete your comment. Everybody else's comment goes away. And I said, okay, deleted it, gone, no more problems. So think about wait, I don't have to sit here to be subjected to this. I can delete it. I can block them. I can do other things to protect myself, right? So be mindful of that as well. And so it doesn't just happen to celebrities. You might say something wrong. Somebody posted today, part of people being overweight has to do with genetic factors. Everybody in that comment section was like, that's not true. And I was like, that is true. I said, I'm so sorry they're being so mean to you. She said, I just stopped responding. So she had to decide to stop responding so that she wasn't being subjected to the negativity. So it can happen to regular people. Just be careful, because there can be huge mental health consequences to it. And it can shift political discourse. You see what they're doing now to Jasmine Crockett. They like Jasmine Crockett all this time until she said she want to run. Now they don't like Jasmine. And it's literally they turned that quick, oh, we love her. Oh yeah. And then it was we don't like you. And it's just like quick snap of a finger. It's really interesting stuff. So I'm interested in learning more about what all this means. We had a guest a little while ago who talked about AI. So there's an AI lens to this again, right? Some of those videos that are being created are not exactly truthful. Some of them have a very intentional slant to them. They're trying to get you to have a reaction so that you comment. And it's really interesting. And I don't know what these social media companies are going to do, if anything, to try to make these things better. I remember it wasn't this most recent election. I think it was the last one. Facebook really got, a lot of flack for some of the stuff that they were allowing to be posted and, stay up on the screen or whatnot. So I don't know. I think for them too, they are interested in generating income. And if the controversy generates the income, then they're like, I'm just going to turn my head to the side. I don't know. So this is a really interesting conversation. And I think it's something that we're going to have to really, really think about. Social media has been around for a while, but at the same time, it's still, to me, considered relatively new. And we're sort of navigating all of this collectively. We all have different levels of understanding of things. Some of them have bad intentions from jump. Their intention is to come in and cause discord and harm. There's some of us on social media that really want to make sure people get accurate information. Sometimes we don't get lifted up as high as some of these other folks that are hell-bent on bringing negativity and whatnot to social media. So it'll be interesting to see if things get better or if they continue to sort of go downhill. Because like I said, every time I go on, somebody might say something. I'm like, yeah. And then it's like, everybody's like, I'm like, what happened? The guy trying to read and looking up words. How could that possibly be negative? If folks was like literally upset or laughing at him. And I'm like, why would you laugh at someone that's literally trying to better themselves, to educate themselves and learn? Like, are we at that place in the social media space and in American sort of politics or the American society where reading is a bad thing? But then again, I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it. But I was gonna say something. Let's go to commercial so we can wrap this up. And that's it. So we'll see you in a little bit. We're at the doctor's note segment. I'm gonna give you some closing thoughts about all of this. You guys, please learn about media literacy. Learn about where, ask questions. If somebody go on there and say XYZ, how come? Where? Give me the background information. How do I find out more? Think about those things. Think about who. Consider the source. That's an important concept. Who is saying the thing? Who is it? And if they seem credible, and sometimes you can tell, you can look at someone's body of work and they seem credible. So if they said the sky is falling, you know what? I might want to look up and double check just to be sure that the sky is indeed falling or not, right? But if someone says the sky is falling and you click on that profile, they ain't posted nothing else, or everything they post is the same thing, or you can tell based on how they reply to other people. No, I'm gonna block them. I block everybody. You know what? You're really mean and you're being mean for no reason, or you're being contrary for no reason. I'm blocking you. Get the block finger good. What you got? Get used to blocking people because you don't need to have that in your life. Pause before sharing. I'm bad at this sometimes, but most of the time when I share funny stuff, it's cute things or funny things, right? But they take an extra second before you share something. Where is this coming from? What's the basis of this information? Is it accurate? So you don't get caught sharing misinformation. I remember someone had posted an AI video of Tupac and Mr. Roger from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood talking and shaking hands. Now, you know, Tupac ain't been on nobody, Mr. Rogers, nothing, but they were sharing it. And I'm like, it's AI. Stop doing that. So make sure you're not spreading stuff that's not accurate. I just said earlier, check sources. Where is this coming from? Is this real? Is it not? And be aware of you being emotionally manipulated. Are you angry? If you are, why are you on social media? Get off. Go look at social media about cats or dogs or horses. Like, look at the stuff that's like fun. I follow this one account. This lady has llamas and she feeds them different fruits and vegetables to see which ones they like and don't like. And it's so cute because there's one, he doesn't like anything. I promise you, every time she offers him something, he does not like it. So that's fun stuff. Stay in that lane. Don't get emotionally manipulated and be angry and mad about something that at the end of the day don't matter, right? And protect your mental health online. That could be getting off, setting time limits. I'll look on for a couple of minutes and we're getting off. I think it's really important because I think a lot of us are so used to being on our phones. We're just like this. I'm guilty of it, but I'm starting to be more mindful of, let me get off of this thing because everybody's angry and I don't understand it. So that's pretty much this week's episode. I might bring this back up again because I want us to be more savvy. And like I said, I'm guilty sometimes of being like, that's not, being angry and stuff. And I'm like, why am I angry at this thing when I could just go and do something else? That made no sense. All right. So let's go ahead and close on out. You all know where to find me on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I have picked back up on Instagram. And I'm so excited about it. I also have a beautiful, beautiful website, www.nicoledvick.com, where you can see all the things, my books. I have 3. Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson, or is it Push Through? Child, this is bad when you don't remember your own book title. Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson, Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times, and the anthology with 20 plus other authors around working, helping y'all navigate the workspace, because Black folk, we have a hard time. They be doing us wrong. Is what 300,000 plus Black women, I think specifically, have left the workforce, and they didn't leave on their own. They was kind of pushed out. That ain't right. So this book would be helpful to you. I think that's it. We'll see you next week. I think next week we're going to rerun a tribute because next week is MLK holiday. And so I think we're going to rerun a tribute to MLK. And I will see you. Y'all take care. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.